Hi, I'm Trantor. This video is about Aura Finance and will cover delegation and wrappers. This is particularly important for those who are smaller holders who need to have a better understanding of how to maximize their returns and their incentives, and then have the option to choose between delegating their votes to a specific delegator or alternatively depositing their Aura tokens into a wrapper. It is my opinion, and note this is not financial advice, that if you have less than 1,000 Aura tokens vote locked, then the best system for you will be to either delegate or alternatively deposit into a wrapper to maximize your returns. The reason for this is because of the high cost of gas and claiming your tokens and how you might intend to then either further auto compound those positions or to alternatively dispose of them. As I said previously, nothing in this video is financial advice, so all I seek to do is to educate and to show you some of the different options you have as you move forward. Most importantly, though, we'll be conducting what I would like to call an actual demo or a complete demonstration of how to do this. So what we'll be doing is we'll be grabbing 100 Aura, which we're calling the sort of baseline sort of shrimp stack size, and we'll be either delegating that or depositing it into a number of different options. We'll be doing that for a period of 16 weeks, which is the vote lock period, and which will cover 8 epochs. We'll also be doing a review at 8 weeks after 4 epochs. Notably, there'll be no manual claiming over that period, so we can focus on saving gas. The two different ways we'll be doing this will be either through vote delegations or through using the wrappers. Now, if you look down the bottom left here, you can see that through vote delegation, once you lock your Aura tokens, you can then delegate them either to hidden hand or alternatively to Paladin. For the wrappers, in this instance, wrappers basically you deposit your token in and they then do all of that for you and then auto compound the position. You've got graviAURA or gravitationally bound aura, and you've got jAURA, which is another version done by Jones DAO. So we'll be comparing the vote delegation option and the wrapper options, and we'll go through each one of those. Notably, this 100 Aura here is a small enough size position, I should say, that we're able to have a real look at how it all plays out, and once again, with no manual claiming. I'm going to give you a very quick summary of what each of these are before we go into a demonstration of each. Vote locked Aura, if you're delegating to hidden hand, it's locked for a period of 16 weeks on the Aura app. You then go across, delegate to hidden hand, and that delegation directly to hidden hand will optimize your vote locked Aura to vote for the pools with the best emissions. Smaller vote locked Aura positions are generally used to vote on a single pool, so they're trying to limit that dust for you. Notably, of course, if you go to snapshot, you can override the hidden hand vote. So if you have a specific pool you'd like to vote on for that week, then that can be done. However, it is essentially a set and forget type option. The second of the delegation type options is through Paladin or their Wardens and their quest system. So essentially what you're looking at here is, once again, a straightforward delegation model. It has a very good track record at the moment of returns back to voters, and it optimizes all the returns that it gets to voters by selling all of the incentives back to USDC. So in other words, to a stable coin, which you can then claim at your leisure. Notably, there's a slightly different model in the quest system that Paladin uses, a different model between how they optimize basically that connection between incentive providers and voters than hidden hand. They do it in a slightly different way, which is not the subject of this video, but that's just for interest. If we get across to the wrappers now, you'll see there's two different types. The first we're going to go through is the older of the two. This is gravitationally bound Aura or graviAURA. Now, this is one of those wrappers I mentioned previously, which has some limited liquidity in different pools. It has 2 pools. The one here mentioned is the graviAURA wrapped ETH pool, but there is also a DIG pool. So DIG wrapped Bitcoin and graviAURA pool, which also provides liquidity. It essentially auto compounds your Aura position with more graviAURA. It does it in a different method, so it doesn't put it into a large pool as such. Your tokens are there to view, and I'll show you that later. It emits graviAURA and Badger tokens, and withdrawal, of course, is subject to availability, but there is, as I said, some liquidity. So in other words, you can either choose to withdraw when there is excess Aura in the pool, or alternatively, you can trade it into one of the different liquidity pools. It has a series of fees, a vote influence fee, a bribe processing fee, and underlying rewards fees. Those all come in basically to, as part of the overall management of your position. The final one, and this is also the newest one of these options, is jAURA and how they do it. So they're locked jAURA token. It auto compounds your deposited Aura tokens into the jAURA pool. So in other words, consider it like a large pool, and you basically get your little tiny piece of that larger pool as it auto compounds. And then when you choose to withdraw after a period of time, if there's available Aura, you withdraw your Aura. Notably, the longer this goes on, one jAURA will have more actual Aura or vote locked Aura positions underlying it over time. So in other words, it's all done en masse and you just basically have a small piece of that. Now, notably as well, Jones has two different vault offerings. The first one is the one we're going through, and that's the one I've bolded, which is a non-tokenized auto compounder. So it's just the jAURA position. But there's also a liquid staking derivative version, which is fully composable. So you'll get a receipt token, which is the jAURA. So you can be on the lookout for that later. There's a new balancer pool coming out for that. It's an 80-20 pool. If you want to get involved in the depositing into that LP, you can. But I would highlight there are a significant number of fees involved in that jAURA, which you can check on their docs. Nothing wrong with any of those fees, but it's just a different option. So today's video, as I said, there will be the standard version, so the non-tokenized auto compounder, the jAURA. Now that we've gone through a quick look at each of those, we're going to go through and have a look. We're going to start with the delegation options by going to hidden hand. So for our first of the delegation options, we're going to go across to aura.app and we're going to do the hidden hand option. We'll start by connecting our wallet. We'll go through. And in this instance, we're going to connect our hidden hand vote locked Aura wallet. Connect. And we go across to lock. And here we can see we have 100 Aura in our wallet. Click on max and we're going to approve it. We have to go through and confirm each of these different options here. Accept. And now we're going to click through and lock. And just note up here, as it tells you, it'll be unlockable on the 17th of August, so which is 16 weeks and 4 days from today's date. And we click on lock. So we have a 100 vote locked Aura. Now that we've locked it in, we've decided to go and use delegation to hidden hand. We click on here on go to hidden hand, and that takes us across to the hidden hand page. We can see up the top, we have 100 vote locked Aura. We go across down here to voting delegation, and we click on delegate. That will take us on to an on-chain transaction, and we can go through and confirm that in our wallet. And so now that we've gone through and confirmed that in our wallet, we can go back to the Aura Finance page, check our locks, and we can see, delegating, 100 vote locked Aura, delegated to hidden hand. Current voting power is 0, but future voting power, i.e. when the next epoch flips, which is in 4 days and 1 hour, we'll have a voting power of 100 Aura. And for now, that's all you need to do. Our returns, our rewards, will be here on hidden hand, and we'll be able to go to the claim button when the time comes for each of the next epochs. We're in line now for the next one, so there's no need for us to do anything now. We can simply leave it, and we'll come back, as mentioned previously, after 4 epochs, so in 8 weeks, and again at the end of the vote lock period. For the next of our delegation options, we're going to use our Paladin option. So in this instance, same tokens in our wallet. We have the 100 Aura and some ETH to cover our gas. We're going to go across to Aura Finance, confirm that we're connected. And here again, we have 100 Aura in our wallet. Go through the approval of processing, etc. So we've gone through, we've got our token approval. We go through now to lock our Aura. Look and confirm that in our wallet. As per our previous, when we saw our delegation to hidden hand, we're now in the same position. So we have 100 vote locked Aura, but we need to work out who our delegate's going to be. In this instance, using the Warden aspect of Paladin, we're going to head across to app.warden.vote and go through this process. If we look at the top here, we can see dashboard, claim, boosts, and quest. It's quest we're after. We go down and we can see there's an Aura voting around here. So to delegate your vote locked Aura voting power to Paladin, it's part up here, as you can see, voting your incentives. You can now go through here and it says delegate across. So very similar to how it was done for hidden hand. In this instance, we'll go through and confirm our delegation and then delegate across to the Warden quests. Our transaction has succeeded. That's excellent. So we're now delegated across. And once again, we'll go back to Aura Finance here. So we can see up here, it says delegated 100 vote locked Aura. We head back across to Aura Finance to confirm, and we can see 100 vote locked Aura delegated paladin-voter.eth. So we've now gone through both of the different vote delegation options. We're now going to go through each of the different wrapper options. The first one we're going to do is the Badger graviAURA wallet option. In this option, you can see I have the exact same amounts. So same amount again in gas, gas, but most importantly, the 100 aura, and we're going to go across to Badger. So in this instance, app.badger.com, you're going to simply look down for the different vault options, and you can see there's a few. And this is some of the options, as I mentioned previously, for liquidity. There's the graviAURA Dig WBTC vault and an additional one on Aura. If you click to Aura graviAURA here, you're now going to go through and deposit. So we have our 100 aura. You'll note in this instance, we're not locking the vote locked aura. We're depositing aura into a vault instead. So we're going to click 100% to deposit all of our aura. And you can see that list of fees here again. Despite a little bit of backwards and forwards there, we've managed to deposit into the graviAURA vault. Just notice that in this instance, we have 93 actual graviAURA position, but it's a 100 aura deposit. So if you go down here, that's the real difference. So if we click on withdraw here, you can click on 100%, and that 93.35 is back to the exact same 100. So hopefully what you're realizing here is that each one of these graviAURA positions is worth slightly more than aura. What'll happen is when the time comes for us to start receiving rewards, this part up here, we'll click on this and it'll go through and explain the rewards. The rewards, even though they sit here and we won't have claimed them yet, those unclaimed rewards actually count towards your position. So that's how the auto compounder works here on graviAURA. You'll also note there's a couple of different things here. You can see the performance of the token, the percentages, etc., and how things are paid out back to each individual. And if you go back to the vaults, it gives you a summary here under APY of what you've got. So this is the standard percentage. And if you click on information, it gives you more detail of how those percentages are calculated, including how they're compounded. So that is the graviAURA wrapper. I mentioned previously on the amount available to withdraw. If you look here, there's a queue, but at the moment, if you wanted to withdraw aura, there's 359 aura tokens available. So for us, we just deposited 100 in there, so that would have been 259. If we want to withdraw, that'll go back down to 259 again now. And that is the graviAURA system. We'll now go through the Jones wrapper option and how we can do that with Jones DAO. So if we head across to Jones, we can connect our wallet. And once we're connected through to Jones, we'll click on our different vaults and we can see some of the different options for the wrappers. You'll notice the jAURA has arrived here, and you can click on the jAURA vault and then work out how to do a deposit. I mentioned previously there are two different options. There's the jAURA, which is the standardized deposit we'll be doing at the moment. And then you've got the wrapped Jones aura, which is this other option here. Today, we're only going to go through the jAURA option, and we'll have a look at the composability options for wjAURA in a different video. So for the moment, deposit, we're going to go across, click on jAURA, which is the one we mentioned here. And then we'll go through and enter our amount. We're going to do max, which is the 100. Okay, we've got our 100 aura tokens now deposited, and we can see here when we go through, we're on app.jonesDAO. We go across down to my positions, and we can see jAURA deposits 100 aura tokens with a position in jAURA, slightly less, 99.96. Again, if you go through the about options here, it goes through the whole purpose here, as you can read this. It's an auto compounding strategy that allows you to earn yield on your aura tokens. Over time, each jAURA token will become backed by more underlying vote-locked aura. And that's the key. It's got some key integrations clearly with Balancer and Hidden Hand. So this option here, both, and this is the key part, I suppose, to remember, is that both the graviAURA token and the Jones aura token are both integrated to the reward system for Hidden Hand. What we did earlier when we looked at the Paladin quests or the Warden quests, that uses a slightly different model for how they maximize the incentives. All right, so we've been over each of the different options, our vote delegation options for Hidden Hand and for Paladin and their Warden quests, and through the two different wrapper options, that is graviAURA and the Jones aura option. Don't forget, for each of these, we have 100 aura allocated to each, either delegated or deposited into those wrappers for the period of 16 weeks, which is 8 epochs, so 8 sets of incentives. And we'll do a review at 8 weeks. There'll be no manual claiming throughout. And without a doubt, that will be a disadvantage for the Paladin and Hidden Hand systems, because those will not be compounding over that period. But the purpose here is to make sure we're saving on gas for smaller holders. Each of these different options has different benefits, different drawbacks, etc., as well as some slightly different fees. We're going to make sure, however, that the proof is in the pudding, and we'll have a look simply at what the actual likely returns are at the end of each of these epochs. For the final time, I want to confirm this is not financial advice. This is purely for education and entertainment, to have a look at some of the different options on how you or alternatively someone else might choose to do it if you only had 100 aura. I'll see you guys in the next video. We'll provide an update on how it all plays out.